Kingdom Come Deliverance and Skyrim are two very different games. One is fantasy, one is historical. One was made by a AAA company, one was made by an indie studio. One required over 100 million in budget. The other one... Wait. What? Here's the thing, they are two completely different games. Now, given first-person horse riding in a first-person game, yes. I mean, Bethesda, you did it in Oblivion. Why forcing me to horseback in third person in Skyrim? At least make it a choice. And why are we talking horses again? I'm a big supporter of the overall idea behind KCD. Historical accuracy, good-looking armor, spectacular buildings, and I mean it. So don't get me wrong, it's a great game with a lot of potential, but it is also a game that dreamt too high. It set its goals very high for its budget. Dungeons and no dragons, dungeons and no crossbows. The devs are really nice. They invited me to their studio in Prague. They just sent me the art book, and I mean, look at this. OP Nerf Next Patch PLZ. This is beautiful. So thank you so much. But regardless of how nice they are, it behooves me to be honest with my audience. This game is not for everyone. Let's face it. Now, in this video, I'm not gonna even mention the bugs because, I mean, wanna talk Bethesda and bugs? Ubisoft, anyone? KCD has done some things perfectly. I think this game has the best nature I've ever seen, hands down. I've never seen better looking woods in my life. And before people go spastic on their keyboards saying how awful the graphics looks because I'm recording on my PS4 compared to the PC and blah 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 blah. Lads, I started with this kind of woods. Spoiler alert, these are trees. Plot twist. Oblivion was already good looking back then in terms of the nature. Skyrim, well, it certainly has much better texture than Oblivion, of course, but maybe it's the overall, I don't know, lack of color of the vanilla version. Maybe it's the fact it kind of looked a bit too Fallout-ish, but the nature never really amazed me, even when it came out. And it's clearly pointless to compare it to KCD because, I mean, there is an 8 years difference in technology. Clearly, if you mod it, I mean, when you mod it, you can give the Yellowstone Park a run for their money. But if you are like me and play on PS4 because your PC graphic card just died, and with the built-in card you can't even mod the highly mineralized chitin exoskeleton of a crab, then yes, you are stuck with that. And it's not really amazing. That was specific, by the way, the crab part. Seriously though, crabs are epic. Have you ever seen a Japanese spider crab? Gosh, talking about reality surpassing fantasy. What on green, blue, purple planet Earth is that? Seriously though, crabs are epic. But enough about that, the combat is the center of all this. It's where you either love the game or you hate it. People who talk positively about it say it's complex, but once you get into it and you learn it, you actually really enjoy it. Those who speak against it say it's stiff and woody, so who's right? Well, here's my opinion. The combat is an acquired taste. It has a learning curve, and a steep one at that. It can be satisfying if you practice HEMA, but it is stiff, and you always will be. It sometimes gives you the impression that you push buttons but the character doesn't do anything. It can be frustrating. To make sure you translate your intentions into Henry's doing something with his life, you gotta spot that green shield mate and block right then. In other words, if you wanna win, don't blink. Although I'd like to say something nice about it as well, because it is important that we understand things how they are. This is the combat system of the 100 millions budget game. So I'm actually pretty amazed they got that far. They got it to work, because the idea was a tough one. Medieval combat that should be realistic but fun to play. Not an easy task. To understand this, you have to imagine it like this. Within the video game world, you've got a scale between realism and fun to play. I mean, imagine if they had to make realistic traveling in video games. Like, hey, you need to go from one city to the other. Well, you've got to walk for 6 days in real life. So there are some things that just you can't make realistic. Imagine if you had to go to the toilet like 3 to 4 times a day. Now, some realism is good, very good, but if you tilt the scale too much in the direction of a realistic combat simulator, it just won't be fun to play, because in order to make it work, you need a lot more money and development time. Again, remember, this is a 100 million plus game, and their combat is literally swing left to right and then right to left. Realistic medieval combat is so complex, so full of possible scenarios, so full of different possible angles where to attack and riposte and feints and this and that and guard positions and grappling and distance and time management and edge alignment and combos. Sorry, I needed to breathe. Again, I'm amazed they got that far. Now, if you really want to know how close they got to the real medieval guards and combat, then you should definitely check out this video, which compares HEMA guards with KCD, made by Federico Malaguti, a hidden gem. Check this video, link in the description below. Now, to all of that, let's add the fact that they chose first-person view, and that's when shit hits the fan. I just love this expression. I mean, can you imagine actually happening? The fan. Mamma mia. So the reason why the combat feels clunky is first person. Now, don't get me wrong, first person view games are my favorite because they are the most immersive, hands down. But imagine playing For Honor in first person. Like, you just keep the combat as it is, just play it in first person. Good luck with that. See where I'm going? Self-destruct in 3, 2, 1. For Honor is the game that really did it in terms of the combat. It's fun, super fluid, and it has just that little tiny bit of historical combat brushed over it with the guard positions and switching of the guards that makes it just right. Skyrim is too simple. KCD, too complicated. For Honor, in my opinion, got it right, but then again, the third person really makes the difference in that game. So should KCD have been in third person? No, definitely not. No. I think the first person is the best option for an immersive RPG experience. After all, For Honor is not an RPG. But first person view has its limitation, and it is important to understand them. The only way to get around those limitations is VR. You want to have a perfect first person combat system that doesn't feel clunky but still is super complex, VR and hand controllers. Me playing Fruit Ninja while being hated by my neighbors, probably destroying their mental sanity. Seriously, you should have seen my neighbors watching me play Skyrim from their window with the Kinect on Xbox 360 actually saying the Tuhums, like Fus Roda, Fus Roda. They probably thought I was a devil worshipper trying to summon Satan. Did they just call the police on me? I'm not hating on neither of these games. Skyrim took away a big chunk of my life I'll never get back. Nor do I want it back. I finished it twice, no but once. Twice. But I haven't finished KCD. So why? But KCD is a fun experience to play. On one of those days where I feel like fighting the undead or dragons is not really what I want. It's for those days where you feel like reenacting a medieval bohemian guy. But that's it. That's what it is. It's an experience for those who love history. So can I recommend this game to all gamers? No. Will people who love Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls in general also love KCD automatically? Well, unless they happen to also be history buffs, probably not. Because you see, here is another major difference between these two games. In Skyrim, you are a god. You can take on the entire world. You are the slayer of dragons and anything that moves or breathes or dares to cross your path. Tears included. But in KCD, yes, you can get pretty good at it, and you will eventually own very expensive armor, but if it's 3 versus you are dead, and some people don't like that. Again, if you're a history lover and a reenactor, get it. I myself enjoy spending hours roaming around the towns, discovering the wooden texture on the doors, looking at the windows. I mean, look at that glass. Am I the only one who really loves that? Like, look at the glass, you can see the building, but okay, I'll stop. Why do I like that so much? Do I need professional help? Although technical difficulties aside, there are also a few choices that got me a bit mad, so I think I'd like to say them. Pretty please get me my crossbows. I'm the son of a blacksmith, but the game has no crafting. I know, some of you don't care, but I'm one of those Skyrim players who got smithing to 100 and has crafted every possible armor set and weapon in the game, and I love mining in this game. I don't know why. What's wrong with me? Why do I love mining so much? Can you get me the number of a psychiatrist, please? But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much. No, I just can't. I can't. This is 1403 Bohemia. It was a massive crossbow country. And you know what some people said in the forums? They're like, well, maybe crossbows weren't around at that time, so that's why they didn't. Oh my God. Sweet Akatosh, save my soul. Other people say it's because of, you know, gameplay reasons, because crossbows will be too OP. But hold on a minute, you just said you wanted to release the game. If you were wondering about medieval Bohemia and you see a guy with a crossbow, run. Historical simulation right there. If you don't want to find yourself in that situation, buy a crossbow and be the guy who shoots first. Seriously though, I mean, I wouldn't mind, of course, paying for the DLC, as long as it's reasonably priced. And don't do what Tecmo did, because with Dead or Alive, it's literally ridiculous. Season pass for Season 1 is like twice the price of the actual game. Are you joking? But seriously, get me the crossbow.